episode is brought to you by Dosey, the everyday wellness wallet, a pill planner to keep all your healthy essentials in one place. Head to dosey.co to keep your daily wellness simple. Welcome back to It's All Her, the podcast. I'm your host, Jordy Lucas. I'm the founder and editor of It's All Her. I was an actress in a previous life and I'm a mum to a toddler. I've got a lot going on and I have a passion for helping women live simpler, better lives. For the latest in lifestyle and entertainment news, head to itsallher.com. Welcome. This week's episode is a day early because I am taking my own advice and making life simpler and better for myself. I have a lot going on tomorrow, appointments, meetings, and just general work stuff to get done in the lead up to Christmas. So this week's episode is a Sunday episode. If you haven't already, go over to our Instagram. We are running our 12 Days of Christmas giveaways. There are some incredible prizes up for grabs. Every prize package is worth at least $250. I'm just looking in my office now. There's an Owlet up for grabs, the Owlet Smart Sock, which is worth over $500. So many amazing prizes. So head on over to our Instagram, It's All Her, for the chance to win something special for yourself this Christmas. Now, on a really serious note, I have actually tried to record this a few times and I really want to get the words right, and I'm just going to go for it this time. Yesterday, I read some really sad news. Last year for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I spoke to the beautiful Chanel from Support Your Girls on the podcast. She shared her story with me. She had been diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. She'd beaten it. She went on to then be diagnosed again, and she beat that. But unfortunately, she has recently received the news that the cancer is now in her lungs. It's stage 4. And her specialists are not sure how much longer she has to live. She's a wife. She has 2 young children. It's unthinkable and it's fucking heartbreaking. And so I was racking my brain last night thinking, what can I do to help this family? A GoFundMe page has been set up by some family and friends so that the financial burden is eased so that they can just be together. And obviously I'll be making a personal donation to that, but I wanted to do something from It's All Her as a business. And I know that this is a really tough time of year financially for a lot of people. So asking for donations is hard coming up to Christmas. So any business, large or small, that can send me a receipt of a donation to Chanel's GoFundMe page will get a free podcast sponsorship package in 2022. I'll leave all of the links in our show notes. I'm also going to do a post to social media. I just want to do all I can for this family because it's pretty horrendous what they would be going through right now. And I just wanted to send all my love and strength to Chanel. This week's guest is Tess Struber. Tess and her husband Luke won the block in 2019 and are now busy building their dream home where they will raise their gorgeous daughter Cleo. Now, like me, Tess has a long history suffering with anxiety, so we spoke about how she coped filming the block and how motherhood affects your mental health and really who you are fundamentally as a woman. She weighs in on the new online anti-bullying legislation in Australia and shares her own experiences of being trolled online. Here's my chat with Tess Struber. Tess, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast this week. You and your hubby Luke won the block in 2019. What's life been like since?
Life has just been a whirlwind since, I suppose.
Yeah.
After winning the block or just even being on the block, we were given so many amazing opportunities, met so many amazing people, and our life has definitely taken a different path to what it probably would have if we didn't win. We've been able to, buy an acre and we're able to build a home on there and work for ourselves and have a baby. And we've just done so many amazing things since, even though the world is kind of all turned upside down, we've kind of just made the most out of it because of the block, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful and we're very lucky.
I loved you guys on there. You were so just like down to earth and real. So I was really happy when you guys won.
Well, thank you.
What was life like prior to the block for you guys, and what made you want to enter and get on there?
Yeah. We lived a very normal far north Queensland life. We Luke was a builder, I was a hairdresser. We wanted to get ahead. Luke started getting into flipping homes. Well, the first house he bought, he was 16. And
wow.
Yeah, he bought a house with his brother and his sister, and they did it up a little bit and rented it out. And then when I met Luke, he was, I think, 22.
Yeah.
And he was onto his second home with his brother, and they were flipping that. And then I came along and I was like, oh, this is, looks fun. It looks interesting. And so we bought our first home together. I think I was 23. And
wow.
We couldn't, I was a hairdresser. I didn't make great money. So
yeah.
The only house we could afford, I think it was 267,000, and it was a Queenslander that everyone said to us, do not buy this. It is riddled with termites. It's awful. It's not even on a good street.
Yeah.
Well, it's all we can afford, and Luke fell in love with it. So we bought it and we just slowly renovated it together. In the meantime, we went on a few overseas trips together, and we lived a really, beautiful life together, loved each other, partied, had a great time.
Yeah.
And we, to be honest, never watched the block. We would watch the auctions like I think most of Australia does.
Yeah.
And we would sit on our little couch in our tiny house. Oh my gosh, it was so small. And I'd go, we can do that. Like, we can so do that. We can sit on that couch and win money. And I would envision us sitting on that couch.
Wow.
So we applied. I think it was 4th time lucky. Never really thinking we'd get on, but I was like, well, how are we going to get on if you don't even apply?
Yeah.
So the last time we applied, I said, come on, Luke, we've got to apply. And he had no interest, and I filled everything out. He didn't have to do a thing. All he had to do was just sit there next to me and do the video. And we got the call up, which, from then on, it just completely changed our lives. And why not the block? Is that not most, renovators' dreams? To on the block and meet Scotty Cam and renovate a home and show Australia, that you can do it.
Yeah.
So it was, I can't believe we got on it, but at the same time, I kind of can, because I would just envision it all the time. We will be on that couch with Scotty Cam. We will sit on that couch,
That's incredible. That show, like, I watch it quite religiously. I love it. And my fiance and I, Henry, we've spoken about, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing? But we've kind of decided that we'd probably end up splitting up because we'd kill each other. Yeah. How does it test a relationship, that amount of pressure?
It's really hard. And I wouldn't recommend any couple to go on it that haven't been through hard times together. It wasn't the build. Like, our build for our season was just enormous. And, producers have even come out after our season and said, we stuffed up. That was too big. Wow. And we'll never do it that big ever again. And it wasn't even about the renovation. It was to test the human endurance. And like that, it did. We felt like we weren't able to really showcase anything amazing that we could do, because the build was just bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
But the thing that we struggled with the most was probably being produced. That was tough. And, you do have a camera in your face from 5 a.m. till 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, and we wouldn't sleep. I think Luke didn't sleep Thursday, Friday, Saturday night 1 week. He went through 3 days without sleep. And that's obviously a cocktail for, arguments, and you can see your storyline you know, being played out in front of you a little bit. You're like, I can see where this is going, you know?
Yeah.
But then you get through that and then you go home, and then a few months later it goes on TV and it's different to even what you thought. You go, hang on, did that happen? Or, you know,
Yeah.
it's a different story to what you remember and how you remember doing it. And that's tough. And then you've got all of Australia judging you at your absolute worst. Like, that was really tough for us as a couple. And I, you know, in all honesty, I don't know how we got through that. You know, it was really, really tough. And after we won, it still was really hard for us to, you know, come to terms with some of the things and get along again. It was,
oh wow,
yeah, it was really difficult, really, really difficult. And we didn't know what the future held for us, but what we did know is we weren't going to let, you know, it beat us, sort of thing. And the fact that we came through the other end of that hand in hand, we are the most proudest of, you know, win, lose, whatever. The fact that we've come out of that still married,
yeah.
on, I think, stronger than ever. Now we have a baby girl. You know, I can see how some couples wouldn't get through that. And it was tough, but it all worked out in the end, and we're very, very grateful for it.
Yeah. I read that you suffer anxiety. And I really want to talk about anxiety, postpartum anxiety especially, but how did those conditions affect your mental health?
Well, my first sign of anxiety, I was actually in year 2. And I think I was so little, no one really knew what it was, but I was pulling my hair out. We had this awful school teacher. She was horrible. And I would walk up the stairs. I was 6, 7 years old, and I would freeze on the stairs and I couldn't go up. And I ended up pulling so much of my hair out. I had like a little bald patch, and they worked it all out and they said, she's probably a little bit anxious, but I think that was so long ago. No one really knew much about anxiety, right? Especially in little kids.
Yeah.
I never suffered it again up until we bought our house together. And that I got really bad, really, really bad. I went and got help. Luke was amazing. He'd go to my counseling sessions with me, and I had a great support network. But the way that I started dealing with it is I became a great believer in, thoughts become things. If you get in your really dark headspace, and you get in there too deep, it's going to keep happening. You're not going to be able to get out of it. So I was medicated for a while. I didn't really like it. So I really focused on the power of the mind, and that got me through it. Then when we went on the block, when we were there, I didn't struggle as much with it. There was probably only one scenario that it got really bad. I think Scotty Cam was coming around to tell us that we were poor again or something like that, and that we had no money. And I looked at Luke, I was like, I can't do this, and I don't want to do this on camera. And he just said, get out of here, go, just go. So I didn't want my story on the show to have anything to do with my anxiety. I didn't want that to be a part of my story. So Luke told me to leave. I ran off. There was a big episode about me running away. It is what it is. But I was fine. We were too busy. It was too hectic to really understand, I think I'm feeling anxious. Everyone there was bloody anxious.
Yeah.
If you weren't bloody anxious, you weren't alive. You were dead,
Yeah.
So everyone there, not one person wasn't. When it went on air, it was pretty hard. I think the trolling and things like that definitely played part in it. But again, I think I had done enough sort of work on my mental health in the years prior to going on that I knew if you get stuck into that deep, dark hole of, I'm not good enough, everyone hates me.
Yeah.
It's going to make things worse. So I'm a big talker. Luke is incredible. And I think having that support network around you, like my girlfriends and my family, they are what got me through that, and hang on, I had the, opportunity of a lifetime. Who cares? Just try and mute it out, I would have thousands of comments of people saying to me, we love you guys and you're awesome and you're doing this and you're doing that. But you have one person say to you how awful you are, you don't hear those thousands of other good comments. It's awful. but not many people, I guess you don't really know how to deal with that. It's not something that you're equipped to deal with. Australia does all these horrible things. But I don't know. I think just being a big talker and trying to do things to keep your mind frame clear, you know, is what got me through it. I just didn't want to go back there. Really didn't want to go back there. I didn't want to pull out my hair, Jordy. Okay?
And that's fair enough.
Yeah, I got it to a really good place. You know, I didn't want to go there. And you know what? That's the thing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, totally. Just on the trolling, it's been in the news the last few days that they're bringing in new legislations in Australia that these trolls can sort of be unmasked by social media companies, that if someone wants to press charges, that the company then has to give the identity over to the law enforcement, I think. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's actually going to make a difference?
I can't see it making a huge difference, to be honest. I mean, these people can just create another account, you know, and Facebook, Instagram. Facebook's probably the worst for trolling, to be honest with you. But they take down comments all the time, but people just make new accounts, and not everyone can afford to take people to court.
Legal action, yeah.
I'm not going to do that. You know, I think I don't know how we control that. I'm really lucky. I haven't been trolled in a while. I might get the odd, you know, comment here or there, or I've had someone like steal photos of my little girl and use it as their photos of their little girl and then tell me that they're going to come and kill me. Like, I've had weird things like that happen.
Oh, that makes me feel sick.
It's awful. But I mean, generally they're just kids, or they're people who they got nothing better to do. And I feel sorry for them, honestly. Yeah. I really do. Like, I don't know how this new legislation is going to work. I hope it works. I really, really do. But I mean, trolling, I don't know how we get around it. I really don't. I think it's a lot more in depth than just that.
Yeah. And I guess once the recipient sees the awful comment or the hurtful comment, the damage has been done. Like, there's nothing that it can be deleted, but it's still there.
That's exactly right. The damage has been done. And I think that's just the world that we live in. And I don't think we'll ever be able to really get on top of it. So that's why you just have to try and work on yourself. Yeah. You're not going to be able to get rid of all of that. You know, you just have to change the way you see it. But it is awful, and we'll see how we go.
God, someone using your daughter's photos, that is
shocking. I mean, you know, it even started, someone was using one of her scan photos, like when she was still in the womb. I was like, oh my God, someone stole photos of my dog and was like, look at my dog. I'm like, that's my dog. Like, again, it's the world we live in. And that's the whole other thing. How much of your life do you want to share?
Yeah.
You know, and you should be allowed to share as much as you want, but that's just how it is these days.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of your beautiful little girl, how has motherhood changed you? Because I know it has certainly changed me.
Motherhood has changed me. I'm a lot softer than what I used to be.
Yeah.
A lot more empathetic. Cry all the time. Bad things, all of it. I'm loving it. It's harder than what I thought it would be. You know, I knew it would be difficult, but all other ball game. And it's saying goodbye. You almost mourn your life you once had. You're still very obviously happy, grateful, love it. Wow. Now, I remember those first 2 weeks. I looked at Luke and I was like, what was wrong with our life before, mate? You know, when you're sleep deprived and your boobs are sore and you're looking at your body, you have no idea whose body this is.
Yeah.
Tough, you know. I hated being pregnant.
Yeah, so did I.
Hated it. I'd rather give birth 10 times than be pregnant again.
Were you really sick?
I wasn't. I vomited a little bit. I was nauseous every day.
Yeah.
I wasn't as bad as what other women get, but I had nosebleeds. I had the most horrific, like, prepubescent acne the entire time. You know, I was anxious. You know, I'd get really anxious about things. I think there was one day we had a friend's wedding and I couldn't go. I could not get out of the house and go. I just wasn't in a good space. Luke sent me to Brisbane to stay with my sister for a few days because she just, gets me.
Yeah.
And I needed that. I remember having a pregnancy massage and I just laid on that table. I was like, Delaney's like, are you okay? I'm like, this is just so beautiful. I think pregnancy is hard. Those hormones rushing through your body. And, you look on Instagram and you see these beautiful pregnant women who are just
loving it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Whereas I was here on my bed, barely able to move, going, why don't I look like that? Yeah. Why don't I look like that? I was so big. Oh my God. I put on like 20 kilos.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was huge. Everyone thought I was like 5 months pregnant and everyone was like, oh, you ready to pop? I was like, no, I've got another 4 months.
Yeah, that's awful, isn't it?
Oh.
But, it's just the beauty of pregnancy, isn't it? It's not for everyone. But, I didn't ever get in a really dark place when I was pregnant. Luke had to, talk to me a lot. He'd come home from work and I'd just be laying on a couch crying. And I'm like, I just want this to be over. And
yeah.
Like, you're doing a great job. It'll be okay. And, honestly, once I did have her, I did feel a little bit better, but it's a whole other ball game.
Yeah. And how do you feel postpartum?
I feel so much better now. She's 7 months old. So it took a while. I remember I never really I almost prepared myself for that, the baby blues. Yeah, everyone talks about that. Never had that. I would just sit there and I think I didn't feel almost anything. I'd sit on the couch and Luke, bless him, he'd be in the kitchen and I'd look up at him and he would just be like crying. I'm going, what's wrong? He goes, I'm just so proud of my family. Like he almost has the baby.
My God, that is so beautiful.
He's a crier. I love him so much. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, thanks, doll. He's like, I just love my girls. Like, this is amazing. But I didn't get that. So I was going, well, what's wrong with me? I'm not feeling that. I also didn't feel that, oh my God, I love her so much. I was like, yeah, she's cool. Like, she's my little girl, but I don't know her. And I'm going, oh no, maybe I'm not, mum material.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Why am I not feeling this overwhelming love for her? Like I love her, but I'm not getting as emotional as I thought I would, or I've been told I would. Everyone would say, as soon as she's here, it will all make sense and it'll all be, amazing and you'll be in this little bubble of love. And I'm going, well, hang on. I'm still wearing nappies, like I'm a little bit sore. This kid's not getting off of me. I can't get off the couch and I'm not feeling cute. Like, it was tough. I think it probably took me about 4 months to really embrace it. I think when she was 4 months old, I just went, okay, I get it, and I love it to death. I'm like, this will become my best mate now,
Yeah.
But up until that moment, I had no idea what I was doing. And it's so daunting. And I almost felt guilty for all my girlfriends who had babies before me and I wasn't there enough for them.
Yeah.
To go, oh, I should have been making them meals. I should have been checking.
You don't get it though until you go through it yourself.
Absolutely not, and I think, a few weeks in, I did cry a bit. My sister came to look after us for a little while and I would sit on the couch crying. I'd go, I don't think she likes me, Sophie. I don't think she likes me. And my sister would be going, she loves you. Are you kidding me? I'm going, but I just think she, she feeds off me and that's it. Like, I'm not feeling a connection here. I mean, we got there in the end, I definitely didn't get as down and out as I think some women do.
Yeah.
But it was definitely not what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It was harder. And I think even like day 3, I looked in the mirror and I said, like, why am I not skinny? He's like, oh my God, Tess.
Yeah.
Like, if you look on Instagram, doll, you'll see these women, they're tiny, I've not lost all my baby weight. He goes, mate, like, give yourself a break. And you put these horrible expectations on yourself because of what you see on social media. And because you're not looking like that, there's something wrong with you. It's awful.
I had that experience as well. I had a cesarean and we came home, and Henry, my partner, was holding Evie, and Mum helped me have my first shower at home, and she got me undressed, and I just looked at myself and I just said to Mum, I don't recognize this person. Like,
yeah. And that makes me emotional thinking of it for you, because it is really tough. You know, like when you're not enjoying pregnancy as it is, you know,
yeah,
and then you have this, you know, beautiful baby.
yeah,
You feel selfish looking in the mirror going, ooh, like, who is this? You should just be going, oh my God, I have a little miracle out there.
yeah.
But you just,
it's not that easy, is it? It's not that simple.
You're allowed to be selfish, and we're allowed to look in the mirror and go,
yeah.
like, we're allowed to do that. And I think, yeah, I think we need to, if I could give anyone advice, it's like, cut yourself some slack. You know, your body does go back. It does. Yeah. It will. But it's easier said than done, isn't it?
Totally. And when you're sleep deprived, you're feeling so overwhelmed. That clarity and that like logic is so hard to get and to have.
Oh, and even though Luke would say it to me all the time, 9 months in or 10 months in, 10 months out, darling, give yourself a minute. It didn't click for me. I'm going, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know? And then you'd talk to a girlfriend and she'd say the exact same thing to you, you know, and she's had a baby, and I'd come home and I'd go, oh, look, she said, you know, 10 months in, 10 months out. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, saying that to you. But I love that support network of other women around you who have been through it. You know, I've never been one to be interested in like mothers groups and stuff like that. I'm going, I'm not talking babies all day, you know, other mums. Just because we have a kid doesn't mean we have anything in common.
Totally.
Like, and I'm horrible. I'm so funny like that. I'm like, I don't want to sit down and talk about your kid.
Yeah.
I want to talk about my kid. Like, I just want to talk to my girlfriends and have a cocktail and talk about anything else.
Yeah.
But it is good speaking to women who have been there, because it is that reassurance that, you know, your life does get back on track.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And you do end up finding like the new you, because I cried to my partner so many times, like, you know, I feel guilty because I'm not the same person anymore. And I feel really guilty that I'm not the same person that he fell in love with. And he's like, but you're better. Like you're
this warrior.
Yeah. So you do go through that like mourning phase of mourning who you were, and then finding and working out who you are as a mum.
Absolutely. You know, and then you do things and you go out for that boozy lunch with your girlfriends, and you instantly go, oh, how could I have done that while I was at home looking after her, being a good mum? You know, it's hot. That mum guilt that we have is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the expectation we put on ourselves is absolutely ridiculous. But I think that is parenthood. And that's just what being a mum is all about.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's all from love as well. Like you do that because you love them so much, but it's bloody hard, isn't it?
It is hard. And I think, you know, you sound like you got a beautiful partner. And that's the thing, a beautiful partner to actually parent with you is the goal, you know, being a team. And when we were pregnant, great advice people would give us would be like, just stay on the same page. Even if you disagree with each other sometimes, just stay on that same page and back each other 100%. And it's so true, you know?
Yeah.
So Cleo will be absolutely cutting sick. And Luke and I will look at each other like, what do we do? What do we do? And Luke will go, can we try this? I'm like, amazing idea. Amazing idea. Even if you don't think it's going to work, because once you turn on each other, and it's the end.
Yes. Totally.
Everyone in the house is screaming at each other.
Everyone's in tears.
That's right. But yeah, it's a whole other journey, parenthood. And I'm very lucky to be on it. I'm so grateful for my little family, but it is a journey.
It is. What are the plans for next year? I said this the other day. I feel like the last 2 years have been a complete write-off in a lot of ways. And I can't wait for next year. So what are you guys getting up to? What are your plans?
So Luke and I recently, the week we had Cleo, we bought an acre.
As you do.
As you do. And we have been designing our house for, I reckon, a good year. And it's finally all coming to the end where we can start building very, very soon. But as you've said, the past 2 years have been a write-off, and the economy that we're living in now is a joke.
Yeah.
So our build is just, with the cost of materials going up, I think like steel went up like 140% or something ridiculous like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like timber, there's like 4 or 5 month wait. You know, it's just a whole nother world. So our build is going to start, and I've said to Luke, we will be in there by Christmas next year. Yes, we will. So we are about to start our build in the new year, which we are super excited about. We also work for ourselves, so that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
We work in the building industry, and we help people who are buying homes or selling homes. We do all their inspections for them, so they know what they're buying, and what if there is termite damage or structural damage, they need to know about it.
Yeah.
And I think I went back to work when Cleo was 2 weeks old. So that's the joys of being self-employed. It's all about the hustle.
Yes.
And in the new year, I have a new little niece on the way. So we'll do a few trips down to Brisbane and things like that. But it's all about family for us now. And everything we do is for Cleo. And hopefully we have this beautiful home that we can start raising Cleo in. And the beautiful thing about it is we're building on my grandparents' acreage. So they had 2 acres, and we bought an acre off them, but they've long passed now. But the beautiful thing is we get to build on there, and I've got some memories of me being little down there, and their ashes are down there, and it's really
that's so lovely.
Yeah, we're so lucky. Again, that's because of the block, to have that piece of land and to build our dream home on there. So we are going to be taking everyone along the ride with us on Instagram and showing everyone the joys of building. Probably not on the timeline like the block, but probably just as much drama, I would say. Yeah.
And if you have a panic attack, nobody has to see it. You don't have to run away.
No, that's right. No one has to see it. So we are really looking forward to it. It's going to be absolutely hectic next year, but I don't know why. That's the way we like it.
Yeah. So we're all about keeping life simpler and better for women. What would be your number one tip for women, and what do you do to keep your life simpler and better?
To keep my life simpler and better, I try and remain as grounded as possible. I think it's really easy, again, with like social media, to get caught up in what you should be doing, what your life should look like, what you want and things like that. It's a bit much, and that's even happened with our build. We go, we want ceilings this tall, and we want this and that and that. And you go, hang on, what do we need in life? What do we really need? We need each other. We need Cleo. We need a roof over our head, and we need to keep things simple. And, I try not take any day for granted. I think holding your loved ones super close is a big one for me, because that's what is important. Remaining healthy is a massive one. That's important to me. So not really, if I can say it, getting sucked into the bullshit. That's honestly it. We've all been there. We've all done that. We put the stress on ourselves to have this life you see on social media, and it's just not real. And I see so many people's life get turned upside down really easily and very quickly. So I think just not taking things for granted is the big one, because we're lucky. We're all lucky to have one with us, have our babies and things like that. So just focus on that.
I love that. Tess, thank you so much for joining us this week on the show. I've loved chatting with you, and I'm going to keep up to date with your build next year. I'm excited to watch it unfold.
Thank you so much. Loved having a chat.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of It's All Her. If you have loved this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Share it with a friend, and we'll be back in your ears very soon.